Do you know that Starbucks has over 87,000 different combinations? Options could be as simple as a syrup in your morning latte or a drizzle of buttery caramel on the top of your cappuccino. Every moment we are making decisions. At the fruit aisle, we are choosing between an orange or a banana. Each day, we face thousands of choices. Our choices are nearly endless. We are always thinking at the margin, even if we are not aware of it. Each choice provides us with some value, and every decision we make while choosing depends on this perceived value. Economists call this value as utility. In economics, utility refers to the satisfaction or happiness that a consumer gains from consuming a good or service. It is a notion of our well being, welfare, happiness, or satisfaction we derive from the commodity. How much you enjoy eating pizza, how much satisfaction you gain by going to the gym, or how much happiness you get by watching Netflix. Economists try to measure this level of satisfaction by giving a numerical representation to the choices made by us. You might be wondering, why do we need to understand this concept? Why does all this matter? Well, understanding utility helps us make sense of how consumers make choices. In a nutshell, consumers aim to maximize their total utility given their budget. Whether you are deciding how to allocate your monthly income or choosing between two products at the supermarket, you are essentially trying to get the most happiness or utility for your money spent. Now remember, utility is subjective. It varies from person to person. For example, you might gain 20 utils of happiness from eating a slice of chocolate cake, while your friend might get only 10 utils from the same slice. Utils are just a made up measurement unit for utility. We all love ice cream. I will take an example where I will show you how much each scoop of my favorite ice cream gives me satisfaction. I'm going to measure this satisfaction by giving an imaginary number to it called utils. Let's say my first scoop of ice cream gives me 4 utils of utility. After eating 2 scoops, my total utility is 7 utils. After having 3 scoops, it's 9. 4 scoops, it's 10. Again 10. And after eating 6 scoops, my total utility is 9 utils. So, what is total utility? Total utility is the total amount of satisfaction I derived after having a certain number of scoops of ice cream. Another important concept we need to understand is marginal utility. My first scoop of ice cream has given me 4 utils of utility. My total utility after 2 scoops is 7, but the second scoop has given me only 3 utils of utility, which I derive by subtracting 4 from 7. My third scoop has given me only 2 utils, my fourth only 1. My additional utility derived is falling down with each scoop. My fifth scoop would give me 0 utility, as I might feel quite full after having so much ice cream. My sixth scoop make me sick or uneasy. It gives me a negative level of satisfaction, which would be -1. Thus, we can see diminishing marginal utility. As I consume more and more of an additional unit of the same good, my level of happiness is going down. Now let's plot these points on our graph. First, let me plot total utility. After having my first scoop of ice cream, my total utility is 4. After having 2 scoops of ice cream, my total utility is 7. After 3 scoops, it's 9. 4 scoops gives me, total 4 scoops give me 10. After having 5 scoops, my total utility is again 10. And after having 6 scoops, my total utility is 9. When I join these points, I will get my total utility curve. Let me take another color to plot marginal utility. When I consume my first scoop of ice cream, my marginal utility, my utility derived from my first scoop of ice cream is 4. When I eat my second scoop of ice cream, it gives me only 3 utils. Third scoop gives me 2. Fourth scoop gives me 1. Fifth scoop gives me 0 utility. And sixth scoop makes me rather sick. It's giving me negative utility. When I am combining these points, I will get my marginal utility curve. Now let us observe the relationship between total utility and marginal utility curve. When we measure the slope of any curve, the formula is rise over run. Now let's look at my total utility curve. When I am moving from my first scoop of ice cream to my second scoop of ice cream, the change in utility for me is from 4 utils to 7 utils. So this is my change in total utility, change in Q. So my marginal utility is nothing but the slope of total utility curve. So change in Q, which is 7 minus 4 divided by 2 minus 1, 3 upon 1, which is 3. So we can derive marginal utility from the total utility curve. Also, we need to observe that our total utility keeps on increasing even though marginal utility is diminishing with each additional unit. And when marginal utility is 0, our total utility is maximum. Total utility is maximum. When our marginal utility becomes negative, then only our total utility starts going down. So these are few important observations which we can observe from total utility and marginal utility curve. From this example of ice creams, we have been able to derive the law of diminishing marginal utility, which states that the marginal utility of a good or service declines as more of it is consumed by an individual. This law is based on few assumptions, like consumer is rational, who has limited budget and given prices. There is no change in quality of the successive units being consumed. And the last assumption is that each unit is of equal size and considerable proportion. Basically, the diminishing marginal utility theory forms the basis of why demand curve slopes downward. The marginal utility derived from each additional unit represents the quantity consumers would demand of each product. Since each additional unit gives lesser satisfaction, the consumer would like to pay lower for the additional unit consumed. Utility isn't just an abstract concept. It's a key to unlocking the complexities of human behavior and economic dynamics. From understanding what brings us joy to why we opt for certain goods over others, the concept of utility is at the heart of it all.
So today we learned that too much of something may not actually be good for us. And this is how we can understand consumer behavior. When they derive lower benefits from additional units of a good, they would like to pay less. And this is what forms the basis of law of demand, topic for my next video. If you found this video useful, kindly like and subscribe. You can also visit my website to read more topics related to economics.